video, you will know all about my reflections from the preliminary topics that come from Torrentina book and Field History source book, topics 1 to 4, plus the reflections from our supplemental materials from our professor, Sir Roland DALAGAN. So in these different topics, these 10 topics, you will know all about my reflections, my own opinions about these topics. Before we start on explaining or introducing to you my reflection, let us first find out what is the meaning of reflection. What is reflection? A reflection paper is a paper that requires you to write your opinion about a certain topic, support it with your own observations and personal examples. So in this topic, it is all about an introduction to the Philippine historiography, sources, and discourses. In this lesson, a lot of topics were read. It varies from the primary and secondary sources, colonial historiography, and sources of history. As we all know, history is different from historiography. History is the event of or the period and the study of it, while the historiography is the study of how history was written, who wrote it, and what factors influence on how it was written. We all know that history is really hard and not everyone are liking it. But after taking the time to read it, it makes me feel like fascinated and it helps me rediscover the past and it helps me to appreciate more our past and our culture. I feel satisfied with the new learning I have acquired and I am looking forward to discovering more about history. The second topic that I will reflect is the history of the Philippine Island. In this topic, it is all about the history of the Philippine Island and we will get to know all about the happenings that they faced when they first find out about the Philippine Islands. This lesson really gives us a lot of important lessons, especially to the women. During that time, women are being neglected because some of them are slaves. We must treat women fairly or men fairly because all of us are humans and we are all a son and daughter of God. Gender inequality is really wrong. I am really sad knowing that gender inequality is present that time. That's why it makes me realize that it is really hard to the women long time ago in the history of Philippine Islands because it is not really easy being neglected by everyone. Knowing the history of the Philippine Islands is really a big achievement because a lot of perceptions of mine really changed because some of it are not true and fact and some of it are wrong. So that's why it is really a big achievement of mine knowing this or knowing the history of the Philippines. The third topic that I will introduce to you is all about the Manunggul jar. The Manunggul jar was a jar that found in a cave that is burial site in the Tabot Cave of the Palawan. It was discovered by Victor Dicalan, Hans Carl Sled, and other volunteer workers from the United States Peace Corps. They say that the Manunggul jar was unique in all aspects. It serves as proof of our common heritage with our Austronesian-speaking ancestors. They explain the meaning of the two humans in the jar. According to them, nature have souls and lives of their own. The Manunggul jar was a symbol of a national museum's important role on preserving the cultural heritage. It serves as the vessel of history and culture. So in the Manunggul jar, that jar is not just an any jar. From a simple jar, it became the embodiment of the history. This lesson really enlightened me about the manunggul jar. The first time I saw the manunggul jar was when I was in grade 9. In MAPE, I thought it was just a masterpiece. But knowing this time, the manunggul jar has a lot of meanings and how important it is in our history. I feel amazed because that jar really taught me a lot. It really taught me a lot of lessons. Fourth topic, the Laguna copper plate. Just like the jar, the manunggul jar, I thought that the Laguna copper plate is just a plate. But as I've read, it is not just a plate. It is from a copper, which is a stone, and that piece is really important. And that piece also has an important meaning to our history. Finding all about the facts about this Laguna copper plate is really amazing, and it really makes me happy that it added my knowledge about this certain plate or the piece of history. The fifth topic is all about the duties of the Katipunan of the Sons of the People or KKK, which means in the Filipino or Tagalog is kataas-taasan, kagalang-galangan, katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan. It is founded by Diodalto Arellano, Andres Bonifacio, Valentia Diaz, Ladislao Diwa, Jose Dizon, and Teodoro Plata. The meaning of KKK, or they mean it as Katipunan, is born. So we know that Andres Bonifacio was the leader of the KKK, who was really the one who made the KKK. In these lessons, we all know that the Katipuneros was a rebel group, as what I know since elementary. But reading these duties of the Katipuneros, it really amazes me how they put God in the center. There is one duty that really strikes me, and that is to love God full-heartedly. All I know that the KKK only seeks war, but they also want war and at the same time peace and love each other. So in their duties, God was always in the center. Their teamwork is amazing. So the Katipuneros really gave to the Filipinos what they want, and that is freedom. And I always thank them what they give to the Filipinos. Sixth topic, a new species of Homo in the late Pleistocene of the Philippines. Did you know that in science, the people originated from kind of species? Theorists say that humans evolved from apes, and that's what we believe. Homo, as we all know, we all heard about Homo sapiens and everything about Homo. In the Calao Cave, there are a lot of human remains found in there. A hominin third metatarsal discovered in 2007. But this genus Homo is still unclear. Studying about this makes us aware of probabilities of our origin and how humans care to be ate. We will able to understand the behaviors of the early colonizers in the Philippine archipelago. It is important because all of us have different perspective when it comes to the origin of humans. By researching and discovering, a new knowledge will come to us. We should need to delve deeper to understand the circumstances of our existence. So this topic from the Philippine History Source Book seventh topic is all about our aims in La Solidaridad. So La Solidaridad was headed by Galisano Apacible and it was edited by Graciano Lopez Jaina and later on by Marcelo H. Del Pilar. The main purpose of La Solidaridad was to aim or raise awareness about the needs of the colony of the Philippines and to foster good relationships between Spain and Philippines. Studying again about this really helps us to know about the aims of the La Solidaridad. Knowing about this really helps us know what the leaders long time ago wants to get, like the freedom of the Filipinos. This newspaper, La Solidaridad, is not just any newspaper. It was an enlightenment to all of the Filipinos back then. Knowing about this or knowing about the newspaper really helps the Filipinos back then to know that they are free from everything. The eighth topic from Philhistory Source is all about the Reclamación de las Islas Filipinas. So in this topic, subtopic of the topic 2 is all about the alphabets long time ago. And as we all know, the alphabets long time ago was called Baybayin. So the Baybayin was the first alphabet that came from the Filipinos. And according to them, they write from left to right, which is not being done today. So Baybayin is a hard alphabet, but when we really try to learn it, we can know about it. It is also stated there how to pronounce it, and now the points can change the letters pronunciation. Example of this, by placing point above, each is pronounced with the vowel sound E or I, like the B, K, D, and so on. So all things put into an account. I realized that it is really important to know the knowledge about our own alphabets. Knowing about Baybayin makes me happy because I thought Baybayin was really a hard alphabet. But thinking of it or knowing about it really helps me know how important is Baybayin to us Filipinos. The ninth topic is all about Andres Bonifacio's poem, Pag-ibig sa Timbuang Bayan. It is from the Philippine History Source Book, topics 1 to 4. Having to know about this poem of our hero Andres Bonifacio really melts my heart because knowing the view of our hero is really amazing or an achievement. Knowing how he loves Philippines that much. Being aware of this kind of poem is really a big help to us Filipinos, especially in our generation, in today's generation, because it will inform us about the happenings of our dear Filipinos back then in Spanish regime. Very last topic that is from the supplemental materials from our Professor Roland Dalagan. It is about the 3 types of dialectic interpretation. There are 3 types of dialectic interpretation. It is the transactional interpretation, theoretical interpretation, and the transformational interpretation. Based on my understanding, all of us has differences when it comes to interpreting. Having knowledge about these 3 types of dialectic interpretation is really a big help to me and to us because it will help us or it will help me knowing how to interpret each other. For me, this lesson really helps me on how to interpret each other or the other person because I will know that his side is also right and my side is also right, and none of us is wrong because we have our own interpretation. And that's what I like about this topic. So that is all the topics that I reflected to myself from the Torrentira book, Philippines resource book, and the supplemental materials given to us by our professors Roland Dalagan. Knowing all about this is really a big help to me and to my fellow classmates. It really taught me a lot of important lessons from the history to the interpretation. We get to know all about our history, and the sayings past is past and never discussed is not true for me because history can be repeated, and history will repeat because repeating it, we will get to know the truth and the facts about it. And that's what is the importance of knowing what is really our history, what is really the history of our country and the Filipinos and the people and all of that history. And also knowing the types of reading in history is also important. That's all. Thank you.